Technology continues to advance the way in which manufacturers design, engineer, and manufacture or build their goods. It's equally essential that they advance the manner in which they communicate. So 3D visual interaction gives the users of the content an ability to really see, understand, and interact with the model.
You're listening to the Drone Radio Show podcast, the show about drones and the people who use them for business, fun, and research. Hosted by Randy Goers.
Hello, everyone. This is Randy Goers, and welcome to the Drone Radio Show podcast, episode 343. Can using 3D model technology improve workflows of drone manufacturing companies? For that question, we turn to Patricia Hume, CEO of Canvas GFX, a company that develops visual communication and collaboration solutions. Canvas GFX is trusted by leading brands from verticals in aerospace and defense, automotive, commercial and domestic appliance, energy, and education. The company's solutions bridge the divide between technical and graphics applications, empowering everyone to communicate and understand complex information with absolute clarity. Pat's career in software and high-tech spans 4 decades. At Canvas GFX, she is responsible for creating and executing the company's strategic vision. With a wealth of cross-functional experience and deep operational expertise across large companies and microcaps, she specializes in driving sustained growth and high-impact turnarounds. Prior to joining Canvas, Patricia was Chief Operations Officer at iPass Inc., where she led global customer-facing activities until the company's acquisition in February 2019. She has also served as Chief Revenue Officer of Convio, Senior Vice President of Global Indirect Channels at SAP AG, Group Vice President of Avaya's SMB Division, and CEO and President of Vertical Net Markets. She held numerous senior management positions during her 18-year service with IBM and Lotus. In 2021, Canvas was selected by Zipline to optimize a range of visual documentation workflows. Launched in 2016 to deliver critical medical supplies, Zipline designs, manufactures, and operates the world's largest automated on-demand delivery service, which to date has made more than 200,000 commercial deliveries and has delivered millions of units of blood, vaccines, and other critical medical products. Using the Canvas Envision platform, Zipline employees will have the ability to create rich, dynamic visual assets using real 3D CAD data. In this edition of the Drone Radio Show, Pat talks about Canvas GFX, the partnership with Zipline to create interactive 3D product models, and the benefits of using such technologies to streamline workflows and communicate ideas. But before we hear from Pat, I want to thank those of you who are supporting my funding campaign. Whether it's $1, $100, or much more, you can help defray the cost of production and keep the podcast going and growing. Go to droneradioshow.com/donate. And by the way, if you have a great story on the use of drones that you'd like to share in a podcast, contact me at randy@droneradioshow.com. So let's learn how one company is using 3D imaging technologies to streamline operations. Let's pick up the interview where I asked Pat to introduce herself.
Hi, Randy. I'm Patricia Hume. I am the CEO of Canvas GFX, and I'm delighted to be with you today.
Pat, tell us about the company. What does it do?
Yeah, so Canvas helps customers solve their communications challenges. Our customers are people who make or sell or manage physical products, Randy. So we have customers in aerospace and defense, autonomous vehicles, space tech, automotive, rail, oil, gas, furniture, and of course, drone companies.
Can you go a little deeper into those services?
First off, for any company with a physical product based on a 3D model, their success depends on the ability to share essential knowledge about their product. So, whether it's a technical information that's shared internally, process documents, manufacturing or assembly instructions, or even outward facing marketing and sales material, the communication underpins the product through the product lifecycle. And typically what we find is that knowledge transfer takes the form of a range of siloed documentation workflows, whereby content is created, it's shared, and it's accessed in all sorts of different ways across different departments. So what we discovered, and the reason we have Canvas Envision, is that these workflows are often both inefficient, meaning there's a lot of time and cost and wastage, but also ineffective, meaning the content doesn't do the best job of transferring the required knowledge. And so the inefficiency and ineffectiveness can have really bad effects in really important areas of the business, such as product time to market and even sales cycles. We've termed this problem the product communication disorder. So what we provide is a platform. Canvas Envision is a platform which we believe solves this inefficiency and ineffectiveness, and so doing addresses those downstream impacts. It does it by optimizing the creation and sharing of the content, no matter what that content is, and it enables interactive 3D collaboration and content consumption. So you can open up an Envision document on any device, anywhere, and actually interact with the 3D model it contains. It's pretty powerful.
When you say interact with the 3D model, what does that mean?
So 3D visualization technology gives people the ability to see, and I mean really see and interact with 3D models. So think about it. If you've ever played computer games, right? You have an avatar and that avatar is doing things and you can see it and you can, whatever the game is, you can actually be present and feel that you're part of it. Yeah. And what we found is as technology continues to advance the way in which manufacturers design, engineer, and manufacture or build their goods, it's equally essential that they advance the manner in which they communicate. So 3D visual interaction gives the users of the content, the consumers of the content, an ability to really see, understand, and interact with the model. So let's say we want to look at an airplane engine. We can actually see it. We can tear it apart. We can spin it around. We can look at parts. And it's accompanied with any other information that's required so that the consumer of that information actually has an experience now that we believe advances their understanding. And these insights, these experiences, help them make the right decisions.
Recently, Canvas entered into a partnership with Zipline, which is a drone manufacturing company. What will you be providing? So
actually, we have two prominent customers who manufacture drones, Zipline, as you mentioned, but we also have Anduril Industries. They have both deployed the Envision platform with the addition of an API integration so that they can actually integrate into their product lifecycle management systems, their enterprise software. Unfortunately, I can't share exact specifics on their use cases because they've both told me it's sensitive information, but we can give some insights into the challenges that we're helping them address. One issue that one of the customers was dealing with is that they are so rapid at product iteration. They're moving constantly, developing, researching, all new ideas. And they said the development of the documentation to support the agile and rapid product development was becoming obsolete extremely quickly. And sometimes they said as little as 5 days, the documentation that they had created 5 days before was no longer relevant. And they bought InVision because they said, this really allows us to optimize product communication. And as I said, faster creation of content, but also fuller and more accurate knowledge transfer, thanks to the interactive 3D experience, allows people to shorten their product lifecycle and keeps their content current. And it also gives people throughout the company the ability to customize content for their audiences. And so everybody is always current to the latest 3D model. An initial deployment with one of the drone companies was optimization of workflows. I said earlier that today the workflows are inefficient and ineffective. And we see this with many companies. As I said, it takes a very long time for a content creator to get the right visualization of the 3D model from the 3D CAD specialist engineers. It takes days for a single image. Given the content creator, give him or her the ability to work directly with the model is a really easy way to use and become familiar with the application. We've taken days out of that process. And if you multiply the number of images needed for a single document and the number of documents needed, I think you can get the picture. Incredible efficiency gain and shorter time to benefit.
So I think that's what you're talking about in terms of the power of communication. Rather than have several images, you have a 3D model that all users can look at and interact with.
And that's absolutely correct. And I think additionally, the ability to have that experience on a smartphone or a smart tablet, right? And you don't need to have the InVision product running on your smart devices because we present the content in a link. You click on the link and suddenly you're immersed in this experience where you get to see, and I'll say play with the model. And that experience, that interaction, we believe really does advance the consumer's ability to do their job more effectively, right? Think about you're trying to repair a drone in the field. And in the past, you would have a manual, it would be a paper manual, it would be static, you'd have an image, it would be a 2D image. And, you're struggling to do the best to rapidly repair so that you can get the drone back operating. With Canvas InVision, let's say you're in the field, you have your smartphone, you click on the link opens up the instructions. It has an interactive 3D model. You can go at your rate and pace in your learning modality to explode the model, to twist the model, to look at the instructions. And so our customers are telling us the time to benefit across multiple KPIs in the organization are being realized, and that's the value we're bringing.
Now, does Canvas develop the models for clients as a service, or is it a product that you sell and remains with the company so they can develop their own models?
Yes, so it is the latter. We sell a platform license to our customers. So our customers pay on an annual or multi-year subscription base. And that license gives them freedom to deploy the technology across the entire enterprise and their ecosystem. So we're trying very hard to make it easy to adopt the technology. We start with typically 1 or 2 use cases within an enterprise. And then, of course, as people recognize the ease of use and the simplicity and the efficiencies gained, we make it such that anyone in the enterprise can access the technology through the license subscription.
I know the partnerships with the drone companies are new, but can you share any progress to date?
Great question. So I would say they're both well underway with the first couple use cases that they've identified for the product. One of the things that we do at Canvas is I believe that customer satisfaction is critical. So we're always in touch with our customers, making sure that they're onboarded and experiencing the power of the technology very, very quickly so that they can achieve their rapid ROIs. We check in regularly with our entire customer base, and we're finding that not only are they successful in the implementation of their first use case and the creation of the documentation associated with that, but there's this wonderful excitement and enthusiasm about, and now we're going to go move it over here and we're going to go do this. And so we help them with their journey. But yeah, it's an easy technology. And so the ability to very quickly realize results is something that we built into the technology intentionally so that rapid ROI and that value could be achieved quickly.
After working with the two drone companies, what observations can you make on the drone industry?
Yeah, what we find with the drone businesses is they're innovators, right? Their mission in life is to innovate and find new ways to do the things that have been done differently or not at all. Yeah, or not at all, right? I was talking to a drone company yesterday that is in the agriculture space, and they fly over crops. And, I'm not exactly sure what all it does, but the intent is to help the farmer be able to see and understand what's happening with the crop at any given point in time. All of this innovation, all of these sort of forward-thinking innovators need innovative technology. And they tend to be very open to adopting new things, right? Not to say that people that have been in manufacturing, creating airplanes or automobiles aren't also innovative, but we always did it that way. They tend to say, look, we are open. We want to solve a problem. We have a mission and a vision. And so the thing we love about the drone industry, and we'd love to have all the drone companies using our product, is they're very open to innovation. I think that's the common denominator. And so they have a creative mind and a mind that says, wow, that's way cool. I think that would really help our business. And that's what we're seeing.
Building upon that, one thing about the drone industry is that it generates a tremendous amount of data. And one of the challenges for companies has been how to turn that data into something that someone else can use to make a meaningful decision. Your company is primarily focused on the product side of things, but what advice would you give to companies that generate large amounts of data and need to put that in a form that can be acted upon easily?
You said it correctly. Drones compile a huge amount of data. And I think everybody agrees that that information needs to be actionable to really provide value, right? For us at this point in our history, we specialize in the communication and visualization of, as we've said, the 3D model, right? We believe that the extension, right, the roadmap, our roadmap does include the extension of data visualization. So our view is, let's get started with being able to make sure everyone in the company and, in the ecosystem understand the translation of what I will call the complex 3D metadata, right? Which is the data used by the designers and the engineers. Let's get that translated first, and let's get that into this interactive visual communication. We've had customers say, hey, what would be really cool if you could help us visualize the data we're finding and be able to have a complete view of the data set, not just the 3D model itself and how it's behaving and how it gets fixed and whatnot, but the data it's collecting. So my advice would be, data, I think we all know this, but data is gold. Okay. And the gold is there, but you have to mine it. And, we have to take it a step at a time. And for me, in order to collect the data, in order for the drone to do its job, people have to deploy it. And if you don't understand what it is because you don't have an interactive visual way to see it and understand it, you may not buy it. If you don't buy it, you're not collecting data. So I would say, let's take it a step at a time. Let's get people to understand what you're building. Let's see if the Canvas Envision platform can help you do that. And then work with us. And we will continue to evolve the platform to be able to enhance visual data insights, not just on the product, but the data that's being collected.
We've been talking about the drone sector, but how are other industries using Canvas Envision?
Yeah, different companies are using it in different ways. Okay, some are focused on shaving weeks off content creation. We talked a little bit about that. Others are looking at interactive 3D manuals. They don't want paper anymore. They want e-manuals. Some are actually, sounds kind of maybe crazy, some are using it for patent submissions. Some are using it to be able to enhance their ability to acquire customers more quickly. We see field fix and repair. We just closed a deal with a consumer company that is in the motorcycle business. And their issue was their consumers like to tinker. And they would give them a paper manual. And I don't know about you, Randy, but I don't read manuals. Yeah. And so what they said to us is, if we could get the information in an interactive way on a mobile device, that would be super cool. And we delivered it. And, the rest is history. They purchased it. So I always tell my customers when we're starting down the journey, dare to dream, guys. Just dare to dream. This is Canvas. It's think of the artist. It's a white background. You can go create anything you want. And they do. They indeed do go create whatever it is that they need. And there's lots of creative ideas out there. So we're really delighted to listen to what our customers are doing.
What are the requirements for someone to use the Canvas Envision platform?
We intentionally made this super easy, okay? I am not an engineer, all right? And I said to the team, look, guys, if I can use it, anybody can use it. So let's design it so that I can create documents within the Canvas Envision platform and readily collaborate and share them. I have to say that I indeed can create Envision documents. Our company uses our product for all of our communications. We put interactive models on our website because you can create, as a marketer, 3D interactive models of that which you're creating, and we can embed them on anybody's website. So what do you need? You need an imagination. You need to want to provide a new way for your company and your consumers to understand what you're building. And I guess you need to have a desire to have a little fun building content versus what I would say in the old days, it's a bit arduous and tenuous and kludgy and inefficient. This is fun. So that's what I say you need.
Are users creating 3D content directly in the platform? Or are they creating the 3D models somewhere else and importing them into the application?
So we are not a 3D CAD, computer-aided design software. The people like Autodesk and Dassault and PTC and others, they are the companies that provide 3D CAD modeling software. What we do is we have the ability to import any 3D CAD model into Envision. Our technology, our algorithms actually map the 3D metadata one for one. And then when it's in Envision, we can render that model and then create all the different types of documentation that I've spoken about. And then in Envision, the power to dissect that data set and look inside and cutting planes and all the things that people need to do in order to really go deep in to what the designers and engineers have built, that's all done in a single workflow in Envision.
And I think the real power of the technology is that it can highlight and zoom in on specific components. Say, in the case of a drone, the sensors, the payload package, or the motors.
100%, right? It's an extremely versatile capability because we built it based on every individual learns slightly differently. And so you may want to explode the model and zoom in on something. Someone else may want to do something else, turn it around, do whatever. We facilitate that. And this stuff runs in the cloud. And so the other beautiful thing about Envision is, let's say we're designing something in New York and we're manufacturing it, I don't know, another part of the world. We can facilitate real-time collaboration between your constituency in New York and then the guys or gals that have to perhaps manufacture it somewhere else in the world. And they can communicate and collaborate around that model in real time. So, hey, Randy, this part number doesn't look right. The dimension doesn't look right. It would look better if we could extend it, et cetera, et cetera. And in real time, we go back and forth. And of course, that shortens product lifecycle, right? Because we get to the end game much more quickly in a real-time visual interactive communication and collaboration environment than we do the way it's done today.
Is there anything that we missed that we should talk about?
We're seeing a lot of take up in sectors like the drone industry, and as I said before, it's because we really believe that's, the innovators. Product communication disorder that we talked about a little earlier, we've seen it. It's something that can scale as a company scales, meaning that while the drone industry is younger and, innovative, it doesn't mean that a problem can't start to germinate. And so we want to get in front of the issue. So, our goal is to make sure that we can help companies avoid the kinds of problems that we see at older and, in most instances, very large organizations. So we encourage the drone industry to keep innovating and keep being creative and perhaps take a look at what we've done to see how we can help them.
As companies begin using Canvas Envision, does it change the way they approach their overall workflow?
Yeah, it certainly does. Okay. One of the drone customers that we have, God bless them, they went to their chief financial officer to get approval to purchase the Envision platform. And they did an amazing job showing, here's how we do this today, right? Here are there was probably 15 steps, stepping in and out of different technology. The confusion, the inefficiencies were obvious on the slide. And then afterwards, the presentation said, and here's how it's solved with Canvas Envision. And indeed, it changed the workflow. And what it did is it made it streamlined, highly efficient, accessible to the masses, a sense of data democratization, the availability of this complex data set across the organization, a single source of truth. And needless to say, the CFO saw the value and the rest is history. Yeah. So even newer companies are changing their workflows. And when we go into older companies and displace existing technology, they too adopt new, streamlined, highly efficient workflows to drive better realization of their KPIs.
How has the pandemic affected your business?
We saw in the industry a boom of web conferencing, right? So Zoom and WebEx and others during the pandemic grew tremendously. The same was true for us. And, we look at what's happening post-pandemic. And, I say post-pandemic carefully, but the future of work, that whole concept of hybrid workforce, distributed manufacturing, connected workers, all of those initiatives that are in the market today, we fit smack center in between that because we add a dimension to the ability to communicate and collaborate, remotely, we add that extremely important visual interactive dimension. And because it's an end-to-end platform, because it can do anything with respect to the needs of the person who needs to communicate, right? We really advance this whole concept of distributed, remote, hybrid future of work.
And for my last question, Pat, what message would you like to leave regarding the drone industry?
Yeah, I guess my message would be you're spending a lot of money on R&D. You're spending a lot of money on technology to be able to design and in turn build your product, to collect your data, right? And to achieve your vision and mission. Don't forget about the importance of communication. It's extremely important part of the overarching product. And it isn't just about technical documentation. It permeates everything we do as companies. And the better we communicate, the faster and better we achieve our goals.
That's it for episode 343 of the Drone Radio Show. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Pat Hume of Canvas GFX. I want to thank Pat for taking the time to speak with me. If you want to learn more about Canvas GFX or connect with Pat, check out the webpage at canvasgfx.com. If you like the Drone Radio Show, please consider supporting the podcast with a small donation. The content is always free, but for as little as $1, you can help defray the cost of production. To donate, go to droneradioshow.com/donate. And thanks for listening. Your support means a lot to me, and I hope you'll listen to more episodes of the Drone Radio Show podcast to hear how others are using drones for business, fun, and research. For the Drone Radio Show, I'm Randy Goers.
This has been the Drone Radio Show podcast. More information on today's show can be found on our website at www.droneradioshow.com. If you're using drone technology for business, fun, or research and would like to share your experience on the show, please visit our website and fill out a guest appearance application. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media channels.